Hey everybody, I'm Matthew.
I'm Caleb.
And welcome back to the He Said Yes YouTube channel.
We're super excited. Today, we are going to talk to you about our registration. And if you watched our last video, the 5 things that we did when we arrived in Amsterdam, one of them is that you have to register with the city. So we had an appointment 4 or 5 days after we got here with the Gemeente.
It's all like a big blur.
And that is basically the municipality. And you go there with certain documentation. And we'll talk about that.
A lot of documentation.
And they register you. One of the main things that you need, though, is proof that you live in the municipality. So for us in the city of Amsterdam, and we have a lease here. This is the municipality, not immigration, but I've worked in immigration in the United States. The atmosphere is 1,000% different.
So wait, we watched like a video before we went. And it was just this like
a propaganda video.
Yeah, it was all
like obviously it's not going to be like that.
They were just like in the video they were so friendly. They're like, come in, and they like give you coffee and they give you a little gift bag when you leave, and they're just like super smiley.
So we first off we walk in. It's like totally quiet in there. We walk in the door, and then straight ahead is a hand sanitizer machine. It says sanitize your hands, which I want to do anyway because we rode our bikes there. So I walk up to it, and a lot of those machines, you like push it with your hand.
This one, not so much.
And so I walk up, and I push the machine, and it slams into the wall.
Bang it into the wall.
In this totally silent room.
The woman says, relax, relax.
It's okay.
It's okay.
And so then I just put my hand down, and it automatically just goes whoosh. So then we walk up, we check in this woman, we have an appointment. The only thing that she checks is your lease. So I think if you don't have proof that you live in their municipality, they
don't even get to
send you
talk to
away
anybody
right away.
else. Yeah.
Because then I was like, I have our passports and all this other stuff. She said, that's for the other person.
She puts us in the waiting area, and we look over, and there's a coffee machine. Now, we're very used to
nothing being for us.
Nothing being for us because we don't do dairy milk. And we saw this sign on the coffee machine that had a green leaf. And green leaves are good for vegans most of the time. Usually it's like a good sign.
But we can't read anything on the coffee machine because it's all in Dutch.
I was translating it, and the woman came over and asked, she said, oh, do you want coffee? And I said, well, we're vegan. And she said, everything in this machine is vegan.
Yeah. So we both got lattes, which we had already had
too much coffee.
We were like, free vegan coffee. Like, when does that happen? So we got lattes. We sit down in this nice, pristine waiting area. And then a woman comes out and calls us back. Great. This is going to be a walk in the park. We have everything. So there is something called an apostille. And if you Google it, you can find out more information.
I'll actually put the definition up on the screen. I did that in our last video too.
But basically, if you get your birth certificate or your marriage certificate or any kind of court document, it has that raised seal, so you can present it anywhere in the United States, even outside of the state where you got it, and they recognize it as official. But to present it they call it the Schengen area, the Schengen countries, which is most of the EU minus a few of the countries, you have to get this apostille. So it's this extra piece of paper that is stapled on top of it with another raised
seal and a signature from somebody official that says this is a real document.
And it's, in most cases, wildly complicated. You have to get your official copy of the document, and then you have to send in that official copy of the document to get it apostilled, instead of just being able to order an official copy of the document that is apostilled. So for our marriage certificate came from a county in California, and we had to order the certificate from that county. And then we had to mail the certificate into Sacramento, where the Secretary of State is for California, and they had to apostille it.
This all sounds very complicated, and it can...
A little bit is.
I feel like it felt overwhelming for us when we started to think about apostillizing things. I don't know if apostillizing is a word, but it was kind of confusing. And we're still in the process.
So we had been told prior to moving here, there's a lot of information out there that says you need apostilled birth certificates to apply for the DAFT. That is not true. You just need your passport. However, you do need apostilled birth certificates to register with the municipality.
And it's required to register, so it's not optional.
We had been told prior to moving here that Amsterdam was the only municipality that accepted just your passport and a birth certificate without the apostille. But we got his birth certificate apostilled anyway. We got our marriage certificate apostilled, which is required.
Mine was easy. It was in Ohio. It was also cheap. Came really fast. Caleb, on the other hand, was born...
I was born on a base abroad, so my birth certificate was issued by the federal government. They, though, are maybe the only place where you can order and get it apostilled all at once, maybe because there aren't like cities or counties. But anyway, I sent in my application about 3.5 months ago for my apostilled birth certificate.
We did get a response from them rather quickly.
No, that's not true.
What do you mean? We got the thing that said that the check was bad.
That took over a month.
Quick for them.
So I sent it in over 3 months ago, and we don't have a checking account.
We do not.
So my mom sent us a check. Her checks don't have her address on them. I guess that's a thing that they do these days. I don't know. They're not like temporary checks. Those are her real checks. She sent us a check. We sent it in. It took them over a month to send it back and say, we don't accept checks without an address. So then we contacted my mom again because we still don't have checks. And she said, I have checks for another account that have address on it.
Who has 2 different checkbooks? This is wild. Like, I don't know.
Thankfully, my mom. Anyway, so then we sent it back in pretty much right away. I was just waiting for my mom to mail me the check so I could mail the check back to the government with all the application materials again. And that was like 2 months before we moved. So after like 5 weeks, I called for a status update and they said, we just opened the letter yesterday, and when it says the processing time is 4 to 8 weeks, that starts when we open your letter. So that starts now. And I'm like, well, I'm moving in 3 weeks. Anyway, so I called them and updated my address with them because they still hadn't sent it when we moved, and we're sitting around waiting for it. But we thought, not a big deal. This lawyer told us, not our lawyer, but a lawyer told us that we're not going to need it in Amsterdam. So fast forward, the lady brings us back for our Gemeente appointment.
Oh, we still don't have it, by the way.
Yeah.
The one from the government has not
for
come.
Me.
So if you are getting something apostolized from the federal government,
which kind of, I think the only thing you would get from them would be
a birth certificate if you were born out of the country on a base. Yeah. But if you're the specific person, do it today.
Yeah, do it early. So this nice lady, she calls us back. She asks for all our documents. I have all of our stuff organized. They give her our lease, his apostilled birth certificate, my unapostilled birth certificate,
our marriage
certificate, and a marriage. You just have to fill something out to register
like
your
form.
Marriage. And then our passports.
Well, she starts by reading the lease. Like, she's going through every page, and it looks like she's reading every word. And I was just like...
I think she was looking for something.
Well, she was, because she said it at the end when she found it. But I was like, oh, gosh, is she going to do this with every document? The answer is yes. But she was looking for the price of our rent, because that has to be on the lease in order for it to be a valid document.
Then, as soon as she finished that with the lease, she immediately noted that I did not have an apostille on my birth certificate. I said, I thought that we didn't need that in Amsterdam. She says, well, you do. She says, here's a card. As soon as you have it, call and bring it in. So the one thing I was relieved about is as soon as she said we needed it, I was worried that we weren't going to get our BSN numbers.
Well, don't spoil it. Maybe you didn't.
Because you need that BSN number. Like we said in our last video, that's like a social security number. You need that for a lot of things, including opening a bank account here in the Netherlands.
So she sets the birth certificate aside, and she just
checks
says,
your birth certificate.
Checks my information. That looks good for the moment. We run into some things with that. Then she gets to our marriage license, And she's on it for a while, and she actually says to us, she says, I'm going to be doing some things with your paperwork.
She's like, here's the Wi-Fi, like...
Get on your phone and do things.
This is going to be a while.
So, we're like, okay. Mind you, there's like a desk behind us, right behind us, and a desk like diagonal behind us.
I didn't notice
And these people are just flying through. They're like sitting down. The guy behind us is like, I just kept, I heard him say 3 times during our appointment, like, here's your BSN. This is, keep this private. And I was like, oh goodness.
Meanwhile, she's like, this is an exaggeration, but she's got her like
magnifying glass,
like looking at all our stuff. So she's going through, and we're sitting there. And she said, and then finally she's like, we have some problems.
We look at each other and we're like, no. Mind you, this whole move has been very smooth up till now.
And at this point, we still don't know whether or not she's going to give us our BSN numbers, but she's still moving through the process with us. So I'm like, this is like, what is going to happen? I mean, like, even my birth certificate alone, it's like, I have no idea when it's going to show up. They're actually technically issued by the passport department. And so I'm like, when is it going to show up? Is it even going to be accurate? Or, are the people in the passport department going rogue with trans birth certificates too?
She says, we have some problems. And she says, your marriage license
is wrong.
And
I'm like, what are you talking
Absolutely not.
Nope. No. She says, it's got the wrong place of birth for you, talking to me. And I'm like, show me.
So it says that Caleb is born in California, which he was not.
Which is not true, because I just told you I was born abroad.
And so we're
like, well, so what do we do?
And so she says, we need a new...
You need to get it fixed, and you need to get it apostilled again. Which, mind you, is like... also not exactly cheap. It costs $60, $70, including the wrong one that we got her. So, it's fine, but that's a hassle too. But so she's like, you have to get it fixed. Then she's still looking at my birth certificate.
She said, did you change your name?
Yeah, she notices that my last name does not match either of my parents' last names, who have different last names. And I said, yeah, like over 20 years ago, which is my birth certificate's updated. My passport is updated. My name has been changed for over 20 years, but I do have my name change certificate in my little file folder that I took with just in case. And she says, do you have the name change certificate? So I pull it out. It's not apostilled. It's over 20 years old.
Guess what needs to be apostilled?
My name change certificate. I actually need to take care of that. So now we have 3 things. We need my apostilled birth certificate. We need to fix our marriage certificate and get it apostilled. And now I also have to get my over 20-year-old name change certificate apostilled. So we have this list of things, but nonetheless,
she's continuing to go through the process.
And then we get to your birth certificate, and sometimes
what?
He just talks.
He
can't just...
I hate silence. I hate
He can't just be quiet.
I cannot. I hate it. I have to talk.
So we get to his birth certificate, which has his original last name, which
my maiden name,
is from when he was a maiden.
When I was a maiden,
which he's changed, and the marriage certificate just does show the name change, and that's sufficient. That's not an issue.
She says, "Oh, it's a compound. My old last name was a compound word," and she said, "Is there a space in between?" And
instead of just saying. No, because there is no space.
No space on the birth certificate.
No space on any of his old identity documents.
I do say there's no space. However, my brother did use a space. And I would say like it was like it used to be like a family argument of like, is there a space? Is there not a space? But my dad.
Well, and then he says, but because on the birth certificate, everything is all in capital letters. He says, but there's 2 capital letters in it, but there's no space. He's just like Lindsay Lohan in Mean Girls. He's just word vomiting all about instead of just being like, no.
She says in the Netherlands, the first part of my name is a like a I don't know the word she used, but it's like a
prefix.
A prefix, like
it comes before. But
so
then she disappears.
She said I have to go talk to people, and she was gone for a while. And she comes back and she says,
well, we can't put a space because that's not how it is on your birth certificate, and we can't do 2 capital letters.
We can't do capital letters in the middle of a word. And I said, well, just make
it like on my birth certificate.
Yeah, like don't capitalize the second word and just keep it all one word.
And he doesn't even he hasn't used that name in 6 years.
And I said that. I said I don't use this name anymore. And she said, well, if your mom were to come over, and I said my whole family's dead, because
I shouldn't laugh. But.
Yeah, well, it's funny. And so she says, okay.
Well, she actually, when you said that, we both kind of just like, chuckled a little, just because we're like, none of this matters. And then she also laughed.
She said, "Oh, okay." So that part's done.
So then she gets his name in with no space and no capitals, and he finally. Actually, when she walked off, I was like, "You just have to stop talking."
And I said, "Not gonna happen." I try. I mean, it's not on purpose.
So then she does some more stuff on the computer. Then she walks away again. Then she comes back with a piece of paper. She shows it to me. She highlights my BSN number. And then on the next page, she writes down all of the stuff that I need to bring back to them. But she doesn't give us like a deadline. She doesn't say like, oh, you have to bring this back within a month or whatever, which is great because I think our marriage certificate alone will take a minimum of 3 months. I mean, who knows what's happening with my birth certificate.
At the end of the day, we did get our BSN numbers and a free latte with oat milk. And they did, in fact, give us a gift bag when we left, which had some really cool stuff in it.
It had informational stuff in it. But I guess
think it's cool.
The good news about this story is try to have all of your documents in order and correct. But if you don't, you can still walk out with the BSN number. The most important thing that you have to have that can't be messed up
Proof of residency.
Is proof of where you live. Everything else, they will let you fix, or at least from our experience, they will let you fix after the fact. You will still walk out with your BSN. So that's our story of getting our BSN numbers and registering in Amsterdam.
If you have any questions about the process, about us, immigrating here, or anything that to do with moving to the Netherlands, please let us know in the comments below. Can you send messages on?
I don't know.
YouTube?
But let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
Or follow us on Instagram at Caleb and Matthew, and you can definitely DM us on Instagram.
Do us a favor. Go ahead and like this video and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.